Welcome everyone today to our weekly Regal Live Series. Regal Live Series aims to enable coaches to build a prosperous coaching business by becoming the best coaches that they can be. Regal Unlimited is a leadership development company that has over a decade of excellence and expertise of disrupting leadership development through coaching and coach training. Today we have with us once again our dear John Serrao. John is a mentor coach, an ICF MCC, and one of the core facilitators of Coaching Unlimited. John, in a previous session, we discussed on wellness for a professional coach. So today also I would invite you to reflect on how important is wellness for a professional coach.
Yeah, thanks, Anirudh, for inviting me for the session. And health is a special and favorite topic of mine. If I think about a 60 to a 90-minute session, and one of the core competencies that I keep harping on with all my mentees is about coaching presence. So it's really being present with your client. And if you need to be present physically, mentally, emotionally with your client for between 60 to 90 minutes, you got to be physically fit, right? So it's an actually an imperative for us to be physically fit. If we want to serve our clients better, we need to be fit because otherwise, some of the problems that uh, can creep on us can come in the way of our coaching.
So you would attribute physical fitness and mental fitness to directly to the core competency of presence.
Not only presence, but even to being of service to your client. So it is really about things like CC2, for example, embodying a coaching mindset, right?
Mhm.
And part of our responsibilities to our profession and to our client requires us to be physically and mentally fit. You're right. Yeah.
So, John, I'm reminded, I forget the source. No, I remember, I forget the source, but I know who's mentioned it. You're talking about one of the most popular podcasters that will be, I forget his name now, but the reason why he is so popular is that his physical fitness, yeah, Joe Rogan. So people are wondering, why is Joe Rogan's podcast so famous? Why is it such a brilliant success? $110 million evaluation for a podcast. So many of
Wow.
them focused on that it is the first video podcast series, of course. But he mentioned that Joe Rogan is so fit that health being the most important asset, he comes consistently every day at his best. So I think the underlying current is the same for even a coaching business. It's only when you're
Absolutely.
totally fit you can show up in your best.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. Because you got to be physically fit and available, right, to show up with your clients. Yeah.
So John, how do you unwind, if I may ask you?
So of course, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Apple TV are some ways I unwind. But otherwise, I would like, for example, this evening I went for what I think about 8 holes of golf. Thankfully, there was no crowd on the golf course, so I was able to walk fast. I was working on some aspects of my game, so that's another way I do that. But otherwise, in the evenings, I typically go to the gym. So I either skip or I do functional body weight exercises, or I do kettlebells, or I do weight training, and go to the range, hit some balls. Yeah,
Oh, you that's such a diverse, physically active ways of ensuring physical fitness. What I see is that you do what you enjoy to
yes,
remain physically.
yes.
So, John, one of the questions I would ask you is that being coaches who are coachpreneurs who are focusing on the coaching business, many of us have the guilt when we unwind. We are in this syndrome that I'm not relaxed enough. I'm wasting my time resting. So, I believe that if you always have that playing in your mind when you're guilty while resting, you may not be resting as well as you should. So, what could be a potential cause for it, and how can we silence that mental chatter and realize
Yeah,
that it's actually important?
yeah. No, I think that's a good question, and I think many of us have this problem or dilemma that because there are just 24 hours in a day, it's not okay to while it away, right? But I think there is a certain degree of value in that as well, because I think our bodies need to rest. So to give you an example, when I do weight training, I don't do weight training every day because our bodies need 48 hours to recover from our muscles. Because what happens is when you do weight training, there are micro tears in your muscles, and they require about 48 hours to heal.
Right.
So if you do that every day, then the chances of injury is so much more. And by the same token of reckoning, if I had to take that further into our coaching world and and keep continuously working, you're going to have those micro tears, not only physically but even mentally. And therefore, we need that time to be able to recoup and repair some of those things. Sleep is another important element that is forgotten in all of this, the physical piece, and it's an important element in our recovery and in our healing and in our ability to withstand diseases and build immunity. And I think many people don't consider sleep as an important part of physical and mental wellness.
So, John, there are two tangents now I can take this conversation to. One is you have so brilliantly helped us manage the guilt of relaxation, the the micro tears. So, if I may combine the two questions, the guilt of relaxation also may feed into delay in falling asleep, right?
Yeah,
And
yes, it can. Yes,
so, how can we practical tips? We know, I mean, I know, for example, reduce your screen time and slow down and all that.
yeah,
But still, there seems to be something that has, that is missing. I've brought it up in quite a few coaching conversations also.
yeah,
So, if you may
yeah,
quickly reflect on what's your routine, how do
yeah.
we
So,
fall asleep?
for the last, I think, 4 or 5 weeks, I've been practicing this 10-3-2-1 that I stumbled upon on the internet. It's an interesting concept. It says that 10 hours before sleep, stop caffeine. 3 hours before sleep, um, eat. 2 hours before sleep, stop work. And 1 hour before sleep, stop screen time. So I've been practicing that and I find that fairly effective in falling asleep. I'm also keeping track on my Apple Watch how long it takes me to fall asleep. So, sometimes I fall asleep in like 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes. So, having a warm bath before, or not, now I have a cold bath because the weather is so hot, but just having a bath before bed, yeah, and stopping all your screen activity. So then I would read, for example, but I would not touch my phone or touch the movies or Netflix or my laptop. Yeah.
So, John, reading seems to be a very common theme. So, again, there's conflict in whether you read in your bedroom or do you go out and read. So, what kind of reading would you do? And because I feel I keep on looking at the clock and time is running out to fall asleep, and that just wakes me up further.
If you really want to fall asleep while reading, try reading the Bible, and you'll you'll fall asleep in 5 minutes. But a lot of people struggle to read, and I think reading is also part of that thing that enables us to become better coaches.
Mhm.
And I think I would say go ahead and read, whether it's in the bedroom or in the living room, or if you have a favorite place to read, just go ahead and read, because reading doesn't strain the eyes in that sense, and it's not screen time. It's not There's no blue light involved. So yeah. So, and whatever gives you pleasure, if it's fiction or non-fiction or something that is coaching, it's up to you really.
So you would suggest any type of reading, need not be a specific genre or lack of
Yeah,
excitement based.
yeah. I mean, if you're reading fiction and it's like really gripping, then you may not be able to sleep for a long time. So pick up something heavy, philosophy, for example, and then you will definitely fall asleep.
I can pick up a law book in that case.
Yeah, yeah,
So John, you're a musician as well. So And even I'm quite passionate about music. Music as a way of wellness. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think any of the creative arts are great for wellness, because I think wellness encompasses not only the cognition but also the other parts of our body. And when you play an instrument, for example, any instrument, you need to engage both your creative side and your cognitive side, because there is also a science and there's also an art, right? If you look at Hindustan classical music, you know the notes of your raga, but the art is in being able to creatively come up with the different variations of it.
Notes in the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the ability, and many ways it's also mindfulness exercise, because if you can truly play an instrument, any instrument for that matter, or paint for that matter, or some people are good at painting, or some people are good at working with their hands. They're all activities which are good in terms of mindfulness, that allow you to do something else other than coaching, for example, and allow you to engage other parts of your body, other parts of your creative side, and literally, create a different sense of your life in that sense. And I think it is what makes us whole, because we are just not our work and our life, for example, or just physical build. There's a whole lot to us that we need to embrace. And I think music is part of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, John. So now again a question on the coaching side. So as a coach, being present, you also take in a lot of emotions of the client, and there's an added practice of not being judgmental. So with that, also there's a persona that is inflicted up, I would say inflicted, lack of a better word, on how a coach should be, right? Larger than life. So very often coach doesn't ask for help when things are difficult. How important is it for coaches to talk?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. And one of the things that we have also touched upon in this aspect of physical, mental health and mental well-being. And I think there is no shame in you taking the help of a therapist, for example, um, or a coach, for example, right? Either is fine. And if you're doing a lot of work as a coach, then you should also, work with a coaching supervisor.
Hmm.
Right. So those are some aspects that you can use, because sometimes your work can become very overwhelming, and that might be opportunities for you to be able to talk to somebody about it. Yeah. So I think this is important, and I think we all should strive to use some of these resources that we have available today. And increasingly, like I said, that shame is going away, and people can look at it as a normal part of our well-being, mental well-being, for example. But it could
So
also
John,
mean things like for walking in a park, for example, or playing with children. And I love playing with children. When I see a child, I'll go and take permission from the dad and mom, and then just start chatting with the little child. Just talk. So for me, that's some ways that I feel connected to the world around. Some people love dogs, for example. I know you're a dog person, Anirudh, but I'm a baby person. So yeah,
that's right. I see a dog.
yeah,
So John, to build on this further, now that can be mental health is also severely misunderstood today. So on one side, there is of course need for help, and on the other end, there's the possibility of spiraling down in the abyss of self pity. So how important also is it to strengthen the muscle of resilience? If you could reflect on.
yeah. So resilience is, yes, definitely something that we all face, because all of us, regardless of who we are or how successful we are or how fit we are, will face difficulties and challenges in life. For me, my faith is what, for me, I'm a Christian. I believe in the Lord Jesus. And for me, my faith, the church that I go to, the community that I have, all play a vital part in my in my in this building of this capacity or this muscle of resilience. So that's what keeps me going. So I've had my setbacks, my failures, my losses, and that's what has helped me. Yeah. So we need some anchors in our life, and for me, that's my anchor, the church and the
And
church family that I'm part of.
I'm so glad you brought in faith because, as Jesus says, faith can move mountains if you're
Yeah,
the size
yeah,
of a mustard seed.
yeah, yeah,
So, and for me, Bhagavati, my faith in her is what keeps me going. I know at the end of the day, there's
yeah.
someone looking at us. So now, as we are towards the last 5 minutes of our conversation today, John, um, what are some quick tips that you would like to share with our coaches? Because we all like to, there's always the urge to remain professional.
Sure,
So, from a
sure.
coaching practice standpoint, what are the quick things that you would focus for wellness?
Yeah. So I'll give some very simple tips. One is try and get at least 8 hours of sleep. Simple, very simple. At least 8 hours of sleep. Get an hour of exercise at least 3 times a week, and a simple exercise that you can do, or at least half an hour, 30 minutes is fine. Even 30 minutes, and a simple exercise that anybody can do anytime is just go for a walk. So, nobody can say that they're too tired to walk 30 minutes. Walk anywhere, anytime, just do it. Don't even be bothered about whether I should do it in the morning or in the evening, doesn't matter. Just do it. So, sleep, exercise, and the other is food. Cut out sugar. Like I said, caffeine 10 hours before sleep. Um, Eat two portions of
Three.
vegetables, two portions of vegetable, one portion of protein, and one portion of carbs in your meals. Not the other way around. We in India tend to do it other way around. We have three portions of carbs, half a portion of vegetables, and we have a portion of protein. So keep it
Yes.
one portion protein, two portion veggies, one portion carbs, and eat healthy. I think if you did some of these simple things, you should be pretty much okay. And cut sugars. You should be pretty much okay. Limit alcohol intake to one drink, and then you should be even better. And no smoking. Strictly no smoking. If you can avoid
Yeah,
alcohol, that's even better. But if you can't, and if you must, like I enjoy an occasional whiskey or an occasional gin and tonic, limit to one, maximum two. That's it. Enjoy life. Play with babies. Play with dogs. Play a musical instrument. Pick up a language. Learn to speak learn a language. I've been learning German now for I think 565 days on Duolingo, just
wow.
to sharpen my cognitive skills. And it's amazing the amount of German that I've picked up. Absolutely amazing.
So, John, this 1 minute was fantastic. I can visualize a YouTube short. I I like how you made it. You made the first step apparently the easiest. Get 8 hours of sleep.
Yes. In fact, if you didn't get 8 hours of sleep, a lot of things will fall in place. A lot of things will fall in place. Whether it's your coaching, whether it's your exercising, whether it's your food, a lot of things will fall in place. So don't skimp on sleep. In fact, if you have to skimp on your drinks, skimp on your food, but don't skimp on sleep.
So, dear viewers, if nothing else, that 1 minute I will of course share later. Quick 8 hours of sleep, 10-3-2-1 formula that John has referred to. Even the diet he has given two
Yeah,
portions of veggies, one portion of carbs and fruit, one portion of protein, and drinks and smoke he has mentioned clearly. And language, 565 days. That's
yeah.
so. Thank you, John. I'm sure I'm going to try the 10-3-2-1 formula, and I'll
Okay.
try for the 8 hours of sleep.
Right. Yeah, try it for a few weeks and see how it goes, and maybe you can share with all our coaches here on LinkedIn Live.
John, we have a few seconds. So this is a question. Isn't it
Satyajit
overwhelming
has
for
asked this
you?
question. Is it overwhelming? No, it's not overwhelming for me. No, it's not. Actually, I do much more than that, but it's not overwhelming.
So John, I'm I'm passionate now to go and hit the bed right now to get 8 hours.
You should. I'm going to do
So
it.
ironically, in my friend circle, I know only one person, only one, who actually clocks 7+ hours of sleep. So I'm going to just talk about this to all my friends and
Yes.
let's
In
make
fact,
that the
what I
keystone
would
habit.
suggest is even for the viewers who are watching, read the book called Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and you will see how important sleep is. And he's given a lot of research. Satyajit has said, I'm talking about reading and language learning. Yeah. So, yeah. So language learning doesn't take me more than 10, 15 minutes in a day. Sometimes I do more than that, but most times it is just 10, short, 10, 15 minutes. So, but I've been doing it regularly for now 565 days. So,
So Satyajit,
and
the
sometimes
app
all we
John was
need to do
referring
is
to.
just 15 minutes of anything you do, 15 minutes of anything every day will make you a wonderful coach.
So Satyajit, he was referring to Duolingo app, where he's learning German. You can also probably check it out. It's a
Yeah.
fantastic app.
Yeah, it's a free app, but I have a paid version, so I use that.
Oh, it's amazing, John. I've been trying. I tried French, I failed, but Spanish, I'm making some progress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much, John. Dear
Thank you.
viewers,
Thank you, Anirudh,
let's
for
all
having me.
together decide to have 8 hours of sleep as the new financial year starts.
Yeah.
We would like to host you again soon. Until next time, see you all next Thursday, 9 p.m. Indian Standard
All
Time.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anirudh.